Hi friends, it's Julia. I'm here to share a layout that I created using my Mini Kit Monday kit from September of 2019. I know I'm a little behind. Um, anyway, I've played with this kit off and on for the last year, and it's basically set on my shelf. And so one of the things that I did as the year has progressed is I watched the Mini Kit Monday girls create some page kits to make their Mini Kit Monday layouts. At the first of the month, when they share their entire kit, they share their process of making mini kits or page kits, if you will. And so I decided to pull this kit out and to use it to create some page kits to put together with the photos that I had already pulled to use in some of these layouts. So what I did was I pulled out the letter fonts that I had in there and I used them to create titles on wax paper, which is something I did for a little while when I first saw someone else do it. And then it's like, yeah, that's not me. So I really didn't do it anymore. so um, yeah, so I did that onto wax paper, and I did find that the purplish fuchsia color alphabet that I used to make Great Granny's bonnet, it did not stick very well. The adhesive was pretty much gone. And so I knew then that I had to get out some additional glue to paste that down. So I had my title set aside and I pulled the papers aside. I had pulled in a photo to go along with this. And then the original inspiration page had a border of like a scallop, large scallop border down one side. And I didn't have, I do have a large scallop border, but I didn't want to pull it out. So I just pulled a small circle punch out. I think it's 1 1/4, maybe 1 1/2, and punched out some circles to place down the side. And I stacked all that up and I put it into a pile to create a layout with. And so I did this multiple times with some of the paper in the kit. I'm down close to the bottom of the kit. I think I have enough paper to do 1 or 2 more layouts, maybe 3. So for the time being, I think I made 5 page kits altogether, or no, 4, 3 1 page and 1 2 page mini kits, page kits. And so here I'm just putting my paper down the way that I want it. And I tried to pick some papers and things that would be a little bit retro, but not. So that pattern on there, as well as the um, yellow paper in the background, feel very retro to me. And so I wanted it to be retro looking, but also I wanted it to have a little pop of now. Some brighter, bolder colors, hence the zigzag there. I have it's got some bright purples and metallic purples in it, and it's got some reds and bright oranges and those kind of colors. Well, the bonnet that my husband found in his dad's shed is pretty bright, considering it's so old, and it is orange. And I think it red with orange flowers, I believe. Not something I would necessarily choose, but I guess back in the olden days, the 30s or 40s, whenever his granny had that little bonnet, whatever fabrics they could get, they used. His family, I think, they came up in the Texas desert. They migrated to the U.S. from Czechoslovakia, his dad or his mom's family, and so they're pretty poor when they got here, and so they farmed, and they didn't have a lot. We have found quilts that were his grandma's and great grandma's that they put together with rags, literally. I mean, these are worn out clothing that they use the bits and pieces to create quilts. And they have been very gently handled over the years because we don't want them to fall apart because we appreciate having them. Um, yeah, so um, the bonnet is pretty old. He has it now in his closet. You know, one of these days when our kids are snooping through our stuff, maybe they'll find it and go, "What the heck were mom and dad thinking?" You know? Anywho, so it's pretty fun to find that kind of stuff. So there I've got some washi tape down in some brighter colors. I've got the black with the gold on the diagonal, and then I've got the orange with purple, and then I've got that fuchsia pink skinny washi tape. And so I feel like that pulls more of today's colors or brighter colors for now into what is a story about a really old item. So there I'm taking some vellum pieces that were in the original inspiration kit that I pulled together, and uh, I just cut them up to create some layers at the top. I want to say the original sketch that I used was, yeah, it was a page maps from September of 2020, and I believe it had some circles at the top. But of course, you know me, I'm going to do my own thing. So I'm going to start putting this title down, and that's where I really realized that, you know, the adhesive is pretty much gone, and I know that I'm going to have to go back through and add adhesive to each individual letter. And it makes it great because I pulled that piece of wax paper out. Now I can take that wax paper and dump my glue on it and then put each individual letter onto the page that way. Stick it into the glue and then put it down that way. I'm trying to just line up the letters. They don't have to stack one on top of each other. I like there to be a gap, but I also don't want a huge gap between the letters, between the words. So I'm trying to space them to where they're perfectly aligned there, straight, not perfectly aligned, but straight. And I don't like them to touch like the edge of paper if like under that photo, along the border of the photo, I don't want those letters to touch that border of that photo. I'm weird that way. I don't want to set my titles down on the edge of paper, and I also don't want the tips of my titles to touch the edges of paper. It just feels odd to me. I like to have that space to differentiate title and photo. I know I'm a bit weird. So this was a fun process for me. I haven't made page kits in forever. And so I think I might do this again in the future. When I pull a kit out, I might go through and try and make some page kits initially before I really get rolling with the kit. I think because I had already cut into a lot of these papers, it made it a bit easier for me. Um, Initially cutting into my kit is probably the hardest part for me. And so once I start into that process, it becomes easier and easier. And once I have scraps, then it becomes easier for me to put pages together. And here I'm just going through and I'm laying these tiles down. It says, look what I found. And I'm going to finagle them around and move them around a bit. The adhesive on the backs of those isn't terrific either, but at least they stick down with a lot of pressure. I used my ruler to put some pressure down on those other letters and they still just popped up. So I had to go back through and add some wet adhesive behind those to make them stick really well. The layout itself is not um, uber fussy, I don't think. I have quite a few embellishments on there. I was glad to be able to get a lot of stuff on there. I have that little stack up to my right by the handle of my glue gun, and it's stuff that I thought I wasn't going to use, and I am going to pull in that little mannequin with the jacket on it, just because we're talking about a clothing item, and I felt like the clothing item pole. You know what I mean? The mannequin thing with the clothing. Yeah. I think you know what I'm talking about. It wasn't going to be a random piece on a layout. The layout itself is talking about an item of clothing. And it's an old-fashioned looking jacket that's on that mannequin thing. So yeah, I think that works really well. So far, I'm really liking how this is all coming together. I am going to balance out some of that green. I do have a couple of stickers. Yeah, I thought about pulling that in and trying to put it on there to be special kid for my husband because, yeah, he really is a special kid. Gotta love him. These old chipboard embellishments have been in my stash forever as well. And so I knew I wanted to try and get them used up. They match this kit really well. And so, um, looking at that, I've got the layout in front of me and I'm seeing if I can lift up that chipboard piece, and it's really stuck down well. I didn't think it would stick that great since it's so old. I put that down, and then you'll see here in a few minutes as I go along, I'm going to change my mind about that. I'm going to pull over some additional embellishments and stickers and see what I'm going to use from what I have left. I know I'm going to use that mannequin thing with the jacket on it, and so I'm going to put that down. And because that chipboard is a little bit dimensional, I'm going to put a little bit of a dimensional adhesive under one of the arms of the jacket, um, just so that it will lay flat across there. Sorry for all the headshots, but at least I have relatively combed hair today. Oh, well, there you go. I guess I lost out on the last bit of footage. Here's some close-ups. You'll see the finishing touches. I have enamel diamond shapes. I use some puffy paint to create some enamel dots along there. And I added my journaling at the bottom along with the year, and then balanced that green out with some additional stickers over to the right. Anyway, I appreciate you guys being here today, and I will see you on the next video. Have a great day, everyone. I really appreciate you guys being here. Bye-bye.